So I've had this lifelong problem where I don't particularly want to be of service to anyone but myself. I just want to do my own thing and just think about what I want. And as you'd expect, this is not made for a happy life. It's not made for success in the workplace. It's not made for building friendships and social connections and building up my standing in the community, or just making me a joy to be around. And I still struggle with this to this day. I often notice that when I go to work, like my back will start hurting, or my shoulders will start hurting, or got a headache, or nauseous, and then as soon as I leave work, like all the problems just disappear. Okay, so there's something in the way I'm approaching work that often brings on this feeling of disease. Like, I feel sick, I don't know how much longer I can hack it. Or even in volunteer positions, when I volunteer to do something, and I just start aching and just lose energy, lose focus, lose enthusiasm, and it's fundamentally a problem, I think, of just not wanting to be of service to anyone, or at core it's just basic selfishness. That's the big book understanding, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, that our problem is that is our ego, just our selfishness, that we don't really want to be of service to anyone. And it's a pretty big problem. And from a 12-step perspective, if you're really sunk in this kind of problem, where you're just a selfish person who just consistently doesn't really care to be of service to anyone else but himself, doesn't want to think about the repercussions of his behavior on anyone else, this may well be a problem that is beyond one's complete mastery. So that doesn't mean that you can never have some control over it. This means that you can't consistently control the problem, just like an alcoholic can't consistently control his desire to drink. So thinking about some more specific that don't serve us. So one example is, you'll see this with virtually all public speakers, and to a lesser degree you'll see this with virtually everyone, is that before they speak they'll do a little gasp for breath. And when you gasp for breath, you're taking in air through your mouth, so it's not warm. It'll dry out your vocal cords, so it'll negatively affect your voice quality. And also when you gasp, you instinctively tighten and compress your neck. Okay, and when you tighten and compress your neck, that leads to all sorts of problems. Because when you tighten and compress your neck, that sends tightness and compression throughout your body, because there are more joints in your neck than anywhere else in your body. A joint means bone connecting with bone. So you've got all these bone systems in your neck, and so when you tighten and compress your neck, then your back tightens, your shoulders tighten, like all this tightness and compression goes throughout your body. And so even Alexander Technique teachers, and the Alexander Technique developed as a way to combat this human tendency to gasp for air before public speaking. But if you have that habit in public speaking, you'll also do it in daily life. So even Alexander Technique teachers who've done 3 years of daily training will still usually tend to gasp for breath before they speak, just in normal everyday conversation. Now, it will be considerably reduced from when they entered the program, and it may not even be discernible to someone who's not trained in human performance and the Alexander technique, but it's still there and it still detracts from your performance. And no matter how much you want to overcome it, you've developed the habit of gasping for breath before you speak, then you're not going to be able to overcome it. You'll notice, I think I got Brundlefly's permission to share this. Listen to Brundlefly on his shows or my show when he comes on. Every time before he speaks, there's a very discernible and audible, you can hear him gasping for breath. You can hear him gulping in air before he speaks. So when I'm doing a show and Brundlefly's on the panel, when I hear him gasping for breath, I know that he wants into the conversation, that he's ready to say something. And when it's that audible, when it's that pronounced, it indicates this deeply ingrained pattern of every time he speaks, he's gasping for breath, tightening and compressing his neck, and then sending tightness and compression throughout his neck and his body. And it's going to strain. So that's one example of a habit or a pattern that's not amenable to direct assault, to just like trying to use your willpower to overcome it. Here's another, and you see me there? I don't know if you're watching very carefully. I was like gasping for breath, just fairly slightly, but I just caught myself doing that. And for all I know, I may do it very slightly every time I speak. And you can use your willpower all you want. You're not going to overcome that problem just by using your willpower. Just like if you're a selfish person, which is the way that I've largely led my life. Sure, I could get religion. I could get the realization that I need to care more about other people and be of service to others. I can take on a resolution that I'm going to improve. I'm going to devote myself more to helping others and to taking in consideration other people's feelings and think about the consequences of my behavior and words on other people. But willpower alone is just not going to solve that problem consistently, I think, for someone who's deeply sunk in their selfishness, self-centeredness, their ego, their narcissism, their grandiosity, as I have been. So here's another example of these deeply ingrained patterns that we have. So if you stand up and you walk across the room to go sit in a chair on the couch, here's what's going to happen. A few steps before you even arrive at your chair or at the couch, you're going to start to hold your breath. And you're going to tighten your neck. You're going to tighten and compress your back and your neck and your whole body before you sit down. And then when you go to sit down, you'll basically just collapse into the chair. So all this tightness, compression, holding your breath, this will start in a few steps away from the chair that you plan to sit in. So imagine we sit down 100 times a day, right? And you develop this pattern of holding your breath when you go to sit down, and tighten and compress your back and your neck, and you reinforce this pattern 100 times a day. And you'll also go into a version of this pattern when you simply go to stand up. You'll hold your breath. You might even like rock yourself forward to stand up. You'll tighten and compress as you're struggling up. And as the years go by, these patterns just ingrain themselves deeper and deeper and deeper. So there's more there's more tightening, there's more compression, there's more deforming of your body. Because these instincts, they become habits, and then they become deep and strong habits that limit our lives, that put our lives in a straitjacket. We lead lives in a straitjacket of our habits. And many of these habits, these instinctive reactions to stimuli, are beyond our direct willpower. And much of the time we don't even realize we have it. We only know we have a problem when we have severe back pain or neck pain, or we don't have many friends, or we're consistent under-earners or debtors or sex addicts or love addicts, or because our performance through life is so painful because we have all these ingrained self-destructive habits. Life becomes such a misery that we then need a hit to escape from our problems. So this could be spending money, or losing oneself in extreme devotion to sports, or to gambling, or to pornography, or to any of a myriad, see I just gasped for breath there, any of a myriad form of excitement chasing. Because when we're in some kind of excitement phase, when we can, fantasy football makes us come alive, then we can forget our problems. We can forget how our daily life simply does not work. But then what starts out as an adaptive coping mechanism of just losing ourselves in the pursuit of excitement, then it'll increasingly become maladaptive. So we're increasingly checking out of daily life so that we can pursue excitement. So the solution is to retrain our reactions to stimuli. So from an Alexander technique perspective, that's kinesthetic re-education or psychophysical re-education. That's how one of the ways we talk about it in Alexander technique. In 12-step, it's working the 12 steps, admitting you have a problem, accepting that there's a power greater than yourself who can restore you to sanity, making a conscious decision to turn your will and your life over to the care of God, and that's the foundation. But just doing those 3 steps is not going to do it. You have to join a program. You have to get a sponsor. You have to work all 12 steps. Then some of the steps you have to keep engaging in them every day. Take a daily moral inventory. You need to form relationships. We need other people, particularly people who share our destructive instincts, people who are intent on recovery, so that we can learn from them, and so that we can help each other. And in helping others, that's the solution to the curse of our self-centeredness, our selfishness. So one of the ways I deal with this is that I have a highly regimented morning program. So I get out of bed and have a cold shower, nothing but cold. And like that wakes me up out of my stupor, out of my sleepiness. I come alive and I'm invigorated, and I take care of the most difficult part of my day in the first 5 minutes. Generally speaking, nothing else over the course of my day will be as challenging as the cold shower. Fahad's in the chat room. Hey Fahad, great to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming on the show yesterday. So nothing else is as challenging as that morning cold shower, particularly in winter. Nothing but cold. So I charge out of the shower, and then I'm usually out the door within 15 minutes of waking up. Take my supplements, get changed, out the door, and then I get onto a 12-step phone meeting. So I'm reprogramming my basic instincts, because people are calling in talking about how they're using the 12-step program for inspiration, for guidance, for a reality check. Their life used to be one way, and now they're making some progress, and here are the tools of the program that they're adopting. Here are new attitudes that they're adopting. And so I get a solid hour and a half of this kind of inspirational talk, because the phone meetings that I listen to, it's all people with a high level of commitment to leading a higher quality of life, and people who have done a lot of hard work in these programs to reprogram their basic instincts. So getting on the phone meetings every morning first thing, it reminds me, okay, I accept that I've got some problems with my basic instincts. I need to get help. I need to work the program, and it reminds me of how life used to be, how my life has improved, and new attitudes that I need to more fully embrace. Without these daily reminders, I just start reverting to my natural selfishness, laziness, and just the pursuit of my basic interests to be narcissistic and grandiose and attention-seeking and manipulate other people, and try to get by with putting in as little effort as possible, unless it's going to bring me the maximum of attention. So I do my exercises while listening to these phone meetings, and so I start my day after these phone meetings, my exercises, like I feel good, I'm in great shape, I'm limber, I've let go of all my interfering tension patterns, my interfering stress patterns, and I'm free, I'm open, I'm inspired. I've kind of reprogrammed my mind, and I'm eager to be of service, to be my best self. Then the day goes along and I get worn down. Okay, I admit it. Bye-bye.